Hey everyone, welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, your favorite corner of the internet where the whispers of the entertainment world come to life. Before we dive into tonight's whirlwind, make sure you're subscribed and share this video with that one friend who never misses the tiniest flicker of celebrity drama. Because trust me, what we're about to unpack has the entire scene buzzing, and it all revolves around two names we know all too well, Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel. It started with a spark, the kind of spark that turns timelines upside down in minutes. Photos began circulating, kissing photos, intimate snapshots that didn't look staged, didn't look like publicity, didn't look like anything but real, private moments. And that's exactly why everything exploded. Fans of Yağmur, who has been shining in her recent projects, woke up to a morning that felt like a storm had ripped through her carefully guarded personal life. The images spread with dizzying speed, popping up on every platform, the captions multiplying, the theories racing. Some people swore the photos were old, a relic from a past chapter that had nothing to do with today. Others said it was a clear invasion of privacy and nothing about it was okay. But as the crowd divided, one question blocked out the rest: what would Barış do? The answer, if the whispers are true, arrived behind closed doors. Those close to the couple say the moment the photos landed, a tense conversation erupted, a string of accusations and half-answers colliding with harsh truths and complicated emotions. Not about whether affection ever existed, that was obvious, but about how those images surfaced, who had access, who could have passed them on, who might be playing a cruel game from the shadows. The talk didn't stay calm for long. Voices rose. Things were said that can't be unsaid. And then, the rumor that stopped everyone cold, a decision to take some time apart. No statement. No denial. No confirmation. Just silence. And the silence said more than any publicist ever could. Those closest to Yağmur confided that she felt deeply wounded, not just embarrassed, not just angry, but betrayed by the way her privacy had been cracked open like a window during a storm. She wanted space, she wanted calm, and most of all, she wanted to pull her focus back to her sets and scripts, where she controls every line and every beat. Meanwhile, Barış chose the opposite of the usual celebrity defensiveness. He said nothing. He kept it quiet, reportedly telling his inner circle that there was nothing to be gained by pouring fuel on a mess that was already burning hot. Outside their bubble, the debate raged. Some insisted that being famous shouldn't mean surrendering all rights to intimacy. Others squinted at lighting and background details, swiping through shadows and reflections to guess the when and where. And while the arguments ping-ponged across screens, the pressure mounted the way it always does in this world, pressing down on the very people who are expected to look unbothered at all times. It was as if the same old lesson had returned in a louder voice. Fame never sleeps, and neither do the eyes that want to see everything. As the hours turned into days, watchful eyes searched for any hint from the couple. Would there be an explanation? Would they break their silence? The truth is, no one really knows what happens between two people when the doors close. But what the whispers suggest is a crisis of trust as real as it is painful. Sources say that Yağmur described the situation as out of control, and when she said those words to friends, they could hear that it wasn't only about the photos. It was about the feeling of being unable to protect what mattered most, the sense that life had turned into a corridor full of mirrors and strangers. And here's where the story takes a turn few saw coming. The photos, as scandalous as they seemed on first glance, weren't even the first crack in the glass. The relationship, darling audience, had felt the strain long before the storm arrived. Busy schedules that bent their days out of shape, days that stretched into long nights on set, messages answered too late, calls missed, misunderstandings that hardened into walls, none of it dramatic on its own, but together it made a quiet, relentless pressure. The leak wasn't the beginning. It was the match dropped on dry grass. That night, according to those who heard it from those who were there, emotions brimmed and spilled. Voices trembled and sometimes broke. Words meant to protect became sharp, words meant to ask became accusations, and by the end, the air felt heavy and unbreathable. They parted with a weight between them, the kind that makes even the simplest morning feel impossible. And just like that, the spotlight tightened. Afterwards, the signs were everywhere if you knew where to look. Yağmur's social presence dimmed. Fewer posts, fewer stories, fewer glimpses into a life fans thought they understood. She avoided places where cameras swarm and the questions have teeth. But behind the scenes, on set, the story was different. Co-stars shared that she arrived on time, hit her marks, stayed focused, stayed quiet. Professional, contained, deliberate. The kind of discipline that looks effortless from afar but takes steel to hold when your name is echoing in every corner of the industry. Barış mirrored that restraint. He drew back from the outer world, declining to posture or perform. He is said to have told friends, in a voice edged with fatigue, that he didn't want the situation inflated past whatever truth there was. That phrase, "don't inflate," lingered in the air, as if he knew every word said in public would echo back with triple force. A joint statement? Maybe, some guessed, to put out the fire in one careful breath. Or maybe not. Maybe quiet was the strategy, not out of indifference, but out of a wish to protect what little privacy might still be salvaged. Meanwhile, the comment sections kept spinning, the fan pages pulsing with heat. Support flooded in for Yağmur, with messages of grace and patience, a chorus urging her to hold her head high. Others, more skeptical, dissected the authenticity and timing as if they were investigating a puzzle. Were the photos taken weeks ago? Months? Years? If they were old, why now? If they were new, then who stood behind the camera, behind the leak, behind the sudden chaos? In the absence of answers, theories breed like wildflowers. Was the relationship over? The tabloids pounced on the question with the hunger of a storyline they had been waiting to tell. But those near the couple painted a more complicated picture: distance, yes; silence, yes; pain, yes. But an ending is a ceremony, and no such ceremony had taken place. Instead, there was a holding of breath, a reaching for time and distance to see whether something dear could be rebuilt in a quieter, kinder room. Friends close to Yağmur offered what wise friends always do: slow down, breathe, don't let the present storm decide the future. Protect your work. Protect your heart. She listened, they say. She turned inward, refusing to let the noise shatter the balance she has fought hard to earn in her career. Still, the attention was relentless, and it weighed on her with the subtle force of gravity, constant, invisible, exhausting. Barış, for his part, stepped even further back. Some say he believed that the story the public was hearing had been bent out of shape, that certain details had been sharpened into weapons and others erased entirely. But he didn't rush to set any record straight. He stayed measured, even as speculation flared around him. In certain circles, people wondered if this restraint was coldness. In others, it was seen as respect for a situation already too raw. And so the photos remained suspended in time, detached from clear dates and clean explanations. A few voices with industry ties hinted at the possibility of old images, long detached from any current reality. If that's true, then the timing is its own mystery, and therefore its own story. Was it deliberate? Did someone choose this moment? Was it calculated? If you know how this business works, you know how often leaks are orchestrated, engineered in silence so that the noise will be loud enough to drown out other truths. Whether that's what happened here, no one has said, not on the record, at least. But the possibility hangs in the air like a question mark that never lands. What's left, in the quiet after the uproar, is the uncertain road forward. Those who understand the couple best say that while there is no final chapter written, there is distance wide enough to feel like a sea. Messages sent and not sent. Calls made and not answered. A delicate attempt to keep the embers from going cold while not letting the fire become a blaze that consumes them both. Is this what resilience looks like? Or is it what an ending looks like before anyone says the word? Only time, that stubborn storyteller, will tell. And so we circle back to where we began, with two people, a set of images, and a world determined to read meaning into every glance and every silence. Maybe these days will become a footnote in a longer love story. Maybe they'll become a lesson that both carry into different futures. For now, they are a moment suspended in the spotlight, both of them trying to stay human under a glare that has never been kind to hearts that bruise easily. Here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we'll be watching with the same patience we hope the world will show them. We will bring you any careful, confirmed development, not the reckless whispers that vanish at dawn. If they break their silence, you'll hear it here. If a joint statement appears, if a quiet reconciliation begins, if a dignified parting takes shape, we will follow, gently, deliberately, respectfully. Until then, let's remember that fame is a mirror that distorts as much as it reflects. And behind it, always, are people doing their best to navigate storms they never asked for. Stay close, stay kind, and keep your notifications on, because this story is still writing itself. Thank you for joining us at Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you haven't already, tap subscribe, share this video, and meet us in the comments with your thoughts, measured, compassionate, and curious. The stage lights are dimming for tonight, but the curtain hasn't fallen yet. Until next time, good night from Turkish Spotlight Secrets.